Are you unsure as to whether to buy a home or rent a home in Lancaster, Pennsylvania going into 2026? In this video, I'm going to go through the 7 most asked questions I get as a real estate agent to helping clients decide whether they should continue renting or make the purchase. Question number 1. How much does it cost to rent versus buy in Lancaster? Today, the average cost of renting a 2 or 3 bedroom place in Lancaster County sits at around $1,600 to $1,850 a month. A typical purchase, where you're putting 5% down on a $325,000 home, this is going to put your monthly payment in the $2,250 range up to about $2,500 a month. So yes, renting can still be cheaper month to month, but that's not the whole equation as we look to the longer term. The second question I get is, what does the long-term cost actually look like? Here's where the picture changes slightly. So for example, if you're purchasing that $325,000 home and you stay there for 7 years, typically you're going to pay down around $45,000 to $55,000 in principal. You're going to gain around $70,000 to $90,000 in appreciation. This is based on the last 10-year average in Lancaster. This means potentially you're going to bill about $110,000 to $145,000 in wealth. However, there are a few additional costs to take into account, such as maintenance. If you rent for the same period, you don't have to worry about this maintenance cost, but you're probably going to spend around $140,000 to $160,000, and you're not going to have any equity at all. Now, if you were able to invest the difference, you might be able to get that number a little bit closer. However, if rents continue to rise, you may find actually you can't put any additional money aside after the first couple of years anyway. As a homeowner, you also get better tax benefits, so you can actually deduct interest payments from your tax return. So you may even be able to get money back, which again closes the gap compared to renting. Number 3, how does Lancaster compare to other metro areas? Lancaster is still one of the most affordable big towns in the Northeast. It's far cheaper than Philadelphia, New York, New Jersey, and Washington, D.C. So you are going to find that your home costs are going to be around 15 to 25% less on a monthly basis than you would in those major metros. Number 4, how stable is Lancaster County right now? Now, in terms of inventory, we have a very low inventory. We're still about 25 to 30% less than pre-COVID. Now, what I would say this helps support our home prices. There's still a lot of demand, especially in the $250,000 to $400,000 range. Less so as you get up into those higher luxury prices. Now, the good news is, as interest rates continue to drop, we are seeing affordability come back. So you may be able to get yourself a really good deal in that price point before home prices increase going into the spring. There's always a bit of a feeding frenzy during that time. So ideally, if you can get a home purchased in January, February, or perhaps in later in the year, October, November, December, you could pick up a good property for a decent price, and you're more likely to be able to get things like a home inspection. Number 5, so when does renting make more sense? Now, I'm not saying you should go out and rush and buy a home. However, there are a few situations where renting is going to make a lot more sense for you. Renting is definitely going to be the smarter choice if you plan to move in the next 1 or 2 years. If your income needs to stabilize, perhaps you need that flexibility of having a couple of $100 extra in your account each month. If you're still improving credit or trying to save for a down payment, or if you're moving to the area or relocating and you're just not sure what the area is like, renting can be a really great opportunity to see exactly where you want to be or don't want to be. The good thing about renting is it is far more flexible than buying a home. There's a lot less upfront costs. And even though there are some great products that can help get your cost of moving down, I would say if you just want to kind of build your credit, save some money, get used to the area, renting is going to make a sense 99 times out of 100. Number 6, so when is buying going to be the better choice? Well, if you're going to be there for 3 or more years, especially if you're going to be there for 5 or more, then buying is probably going to make more sense. If you've got a stable job and you want predictable payments, let's say you've got a government job or you're a doctor that works at a hospital, I mean, it makes absolute sense to stay here in Lancaster and buy yourself a home. If you're just fed up of paying somebody else's mortgage and actually want to start building wealth yourself, home ownership, again, can be a great opportunity to do this. My wife and I, we actually picked more of a fixer-upper home. We didn't have the budget, or we didn't want to pay the monthly payment of a far more expensive home. So we got ourselves a house that was a bit of a fixer-upper. We're both pretty handy. With the help of YouTube, we were able to kind of figure a lot of things out. And we managed to buy a home in the neighborhood we wanted to be in. We then put our time, money, and effort into upgrading the house. And now it's feeling pretty comfortable. And we've also managed to add a decent amount of appreciation to the property as well. Number 7, should I wait for interest rates to drop before making the purchase? Now, this is a tricky one because interest rates are likely to drop, especially over the next couple of years. They've already dropped from sort of high 7s down into the low 6s, high 5% range. And what's happened is home prices, as affordability has got better, have just continued to go up. Now, are interest rates going to continue to drop down into the 3 or 4%? Maybe. But unfortunately, if they get down there, it probably means something has gone wrong in other parts of the economy. Something to take into consideration is Lancaster home prices have increased every single year for the last decade. And while this doesn't indicate that they will continue to rise, the chances are that they probably are going to at least over a 3 to 5 year average. So you may get a slight reduction in interest rate. However, if home prices appreciate another 7 to 12% over the next 3 years, you're going to end up spending $30,000 to $50,000 more on the average home. And this basically just means you're going to be at a net neutral when you could have actually appreciated and had a lower monthly payment anyway. For many buyers, the cost of waiting for a slightly better interest actually is going to cost them more money in appreciation. So is now the right time or not? Well, the answer, like I say, does depend on your personal situation. If you're going to be staying there for more than 3 to 5 years, I would definitely recommend, if you can afford it, making the move to purchasing a home. However, if you're someone who needs that flexibility, they don't know if they want to be here, or you're just in the process of saving up a deposit yourself, then renting is a super solid option that gives you the flexibility. Buying a home is a huge financial investment. It's pretty stressful going through it. And even if you find one that you think is lovely, there's always going to be something that you need to fix on it. If you're thinking about making the move from renter to owner, then why not reach out, click the link in the description below, and we can go through your strategy of what makes sense for you. And another thing to think about is, how competitive even is it in Lancaster right now? If I look at trying to buy a home, is it going to be crazy? Am I going to even be able to get an offer accepted? Well, if you want to find out more about that, then click the link in this video now.